Hello guys, welcome to the second episode of the Bofa from Scratch series. So we are just starting where we left off last time, which is me basically using my mage capes on the same day. Found this Skull Go with a crossbow. He also had a Gmaul and a Torag's helmet, so I just got on him. I did the skim TB effect and managed to get 750k. He actually had a regular Gmaul, which was a bit random. And then we just continued to basically kill people. And the reason I put that one in particular is just to show you that, look, I'm going to get loads of kills that I'm not going to put into the video, just because otherwise the video is going to be super long with me getting like 200k loots. I'm telling you that now because of continuity. So as you can see, I'm selling everything here. Actually buying a toxic staff. Now you haven't just, this is from the last video as well, kind of collecting GP, but just to kind of let you know. So went back up here, managed to get a free kill with this guy. He wasn't even praying, don't know why, but it's almost 1 mil. And this de-skim technique is so effective on these bulwarkers because if you get a full TB, they just don't know what to do, especially if you're the same combat level as them. A lot of them will run south, others will run to the hop, which is kind of what you can see here. This is actually the 89 hop, so I have 84. On this account, 84 agility, and as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, I was actually bringing a pie, and this is like the first time that it was actually useful. This guy was super smart because I think he had the full agility, so he didn't need to pot to get over. But having a pie, I have two basically opportunities to boost my agility, and luckily for me, I killed him just before he hopped over again. I wouldn't be able to follow him. I found this pure, and I thought I'd put this in here just because I'm actually working on another series, and later on, spoiler alert, he does actually kill me on that series, on a lower level account. So I've put that in there for vengeance, really, to be honest. Didn't really get too much of him. I just wanted to point out, on this, if somebody goes to this hop, which is in the center, you want to try and stay on the western side. And the reason for that is if you go around the corner there, if they run around the corner and you can't follow them, they can just log out. It's really stupid, but they can. Whereas if you're sitting on the west and you hop over to the east, you still have time to entangle them. So just a little tip for you, focus on staying on the west hand side. Obviously you will need to jump over, but yeah. I'll explain that more in detail later. So anyway, I went to the GE and I got a Fury and a Serp, and I saw this PK out the corner of my eye, managed to get a TB on him, perfect. And you're probably wondering, why you just killing PVMers, and this is the reason why. I started this series basically when DMM was in like its final week, so this has only been over the course of the last 2 weeks or second week or whatever. Didn't really have the time to invest into DMM, but it just meant that there were no real PKs. And when you did find a PK, a lot of people were not really interested in fighting you, like this guy who just hops away straight away, which is a bit annoying. So I found this Scold guy. He didn't really have too much, but he was literally one level from getting away. I didn't even bother TBing him just because if he got any further south, I wouldn't be able to attack him. But I thought this was just really clutch, so I thought I'd put it in here. Literally as he hit the 30 line, I spec'd him out. So it was the right decision not to TB him. So anyway, so this is the hop again. So as you can see, I'm just sitting on the west hand side. If I'm on the east hand side and he jumps over and runs around the corner to the southwest, then he can get away. But as you can see here, if he runs east and I jump over, I would usually still have enough time to attack him. So this guy couldn't get away from me. Interestingly, he also had the hop and he lost 1.3 mil there. So I found this boss and I was on this guy for a while, but he basically ran out of food and decided to just stay on the boss. I guess he was hoping that he'd get the drop and could come back and loot it, or basically just didn't have a plan. So I managed to kill him slowly, or the boss tag teamed him, and this guy just stayed a little bit too long. So yeah, so in regards to this series, it was a little bit slow, as I said. I wasn't really finding too many interesting clips. I've not put all the clips in here because a lot of the time, like you find a bot and you just kill him, get like 300 to 500k. But if you're just wondering about continuity, how has Flip all of a sudden got like 10 mil? That's kind of why, because I'm not putting all those clips in. So there wasn't particularly interesting loot for that one. Now this is a crazy clip. So I was following AOO A-Tube and he was on a guy who was Skulled risking claws. And I was following because the guy was like level 107 and Tommy, who's AOA Tube, was on 116. So I thought if he runs south, I might be able to snag the kill. Now I didn't even see the guy who Tommy was trying to kill, so I thought this was the focus. So I was like spam clicking trying to get on Mop 12. And as I did that, Tommy had hot worlds to try and get another guy, and lo and behold, this dude logs back in. You can see him actually switch to his glory. I think he was trying to telly, but it didn't have a one-click teleport, so I was able to TB him and just quickly spec him out. And yeah, this is where the series just really changed, to be honest, because I mean, he just died for 114 mil. So I managed to get claws, a taunt, all sorts of goodies. And at this point, yeah, I just went on a spending spree. So I was in kind of rag up until this point, and I really needed crystal armor, which just makes the Boffa so much more strong, so much stronger. I couldn't quite afford full max at this point, but having crystal armor, as well as Arims, as well as a Dragonfire and a Ring of Suffering, was just a ridiculous upgrade. I also managed to get an Ancient Godsword for like 50 mil. So yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous upgrade, and really kind of changes the series, to be honest. We've gone out of that kind of welfare setup where, we're struggling to just a ridiculously OP setup. So I thought it's probably best at this point to get the Majorina 2 cape, because I've been going around with a Majorina 1. And yeah, the rest of this video, you're just going to see me kind of enjoying this gear. Wasn't expecting, as I said, to kind of get this far so quickly. I've also got the D-skim still, but to be honest, that was extreme overkill at this point, just because I didn't even need to fool people. I was just killing people at my level within a minute or two, if even that, especially with the Ancient Godsword, because if you hit, you're going to guarantee 25 damage. And that, along with the Bofra and a Godsword whack, is just ridiculous. So, like, as you can see here, this guy's got a Bofra. He's got a Bulwark, sorry. I fell with a Bofra, but I managed to kill him anyway. This was a bit of a curious clip. So it was one of these bots, and you can tell it is one of these bots because as soon as they get frozen, they fight back. But it's prayer dropped, and I wasn't quite sure about that because I've been unsuccessful in smiting them up until this point. But there you go, I got 1.2 mil. This is just an example, as you can see. I've just half TB'd him, haven't even bothered to try and full TB him. And yeah, I mean, the damage output is just stupid with this setup. So he's just on the back foot the entire time eating. I'm just kind of showing you already we've done almost 200 damage in 6 hits. And yeah, he had no chance, managed to kill him in less than half TB. Half TB is usually about 50 hits in this setup. And he actually had a statuette. So I found this guy up above 30, not Rita, and Scold with a crossbow, once again trying to do this this hopping technique, which is really effective, by the way. So if he catches me on the east and then runs, which is what he's prompting me to do by hopping over, he's trying to get me to jump over to the east side so that he can jump over to the west and run. And if I can't get an entangle, then I'm fucked. But I knew kind of what he was up to, so yeah, just was ready to jump over to the east hand side once he made a run for it. But yeah, I was just basically staying on the west. Now, as you can see, this is exactly what he was trying to do. Luckily, I was very fortunate there. I managed to catch him, but I thought it was quite a good clip just to give you an insight into that very particular spot and how to PK there. So we managed to kill this guy, and the only real way that they were going to escape is to juke me using that crossing, but fortunately for us, he didn't manage to juke us. And he was obviously quite competent in getting away. I imagine that he doesn't die very often, and as a response, he was risking 2 mil. This is just a bit of a silly clip. So this guy was only level 99. He dropped a fuck you when he saw the skim, but it was actually an anti-PK, as you can see here. So I don't know why he was so toxic, but I had to give him the tactical sit just to kind of put him in his place, and we got 1 mil off of it, so it wasn't too bad. This was another curious clip. So this guy seemed like an anti-PK. I mean, he's got D boots and stuff like that. I managed to get a full on him, but he had a coach with him. So this guy in no gear. So as soon as we killed his mate, he was basically directing him to go to multi. We threw a TB on this lad and basically, yeah, just ruthlessly killed him. I know he has nothing, but I mean, it's a 300k and I was going to bank anyway. So just to show you kind of we don't mess around when we're doing these challenges, even though we're in hundreds of mils of gear, we're still going to kill this guy for his 100k. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. There's probably going to be one or two more episodes whilst I try and get max, but then it's going to be probably quite a short series. I'm going to move on to something else. If you like, make sure you like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.